Panther family, what is up? I am incredibly honored to have the guest on this morning that I do. In my opinion, she is the star of the basketball team. Not to disrespect anybody else on the team, but I got Miss Deasia Merrill on the show this morning. Deasia, if anybody does watch the women's basketball team, she is one of our better players by far. She hit that game-winning shot against Georgia Southern last year. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But yeah, Deja is a badass. Excuse my French on that one, but yeah. So I'm incredibly honored to have her on. It's like I said, huge honor. So I'll go ahead and let Deja kind of introduce herself to you guys, my listeners, and then we'll jump into the interview from there.
Hey everyone, nice to meet y'all. I'm Deasia Merrill, and I'm from Villa Rica, Georgia, and I'm currently a senior here at Georgia State. I've been here for 3 years, and I'm transferred from Kentucky. Um, but yeah, that's just pretty much a little bit about me. So.
Oh yeah, no. I was going to mention the Kentucky transfer because I mean, casual sports fan is going to hear that and be like, wow, that's a pretty big name school. So yeah. So since you kind of mentioned that you came from Kentucky and now you're at Georgia State, I feel like this question is a good one for a student athlete like yourself. But what has been your favorite part or favorite memory? Either one will work. But what's been your favorite part of being a student athlete, specifically at Georgia State?
I think for me, my favorite part has just been this, just being in the city of Atlanta. Being from Georgia, I really wasn't a kid that actually came to Atlanta a lot growing up. So now that like I'm just in college and I'm getting, a lot of experience just from being a student athlete, from meeting new people, from seeing different things. I think that was like a huge thing that I wanted, and I wanted to be in the city. So I think that's been like the best part for me.
Oh yeah, no, Atlanta's definitely a little different than Lexington. So yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. It's I started my college career as a student in Athens, Georgia, then eventually came to Georgia State and graduated, obviously. So I kind of had the same experience where I had the smaller college town than the city, and the smaller college towns they can offer some experiences that the city can't, sure, but it just kind of depends on what you want at that age. You know what I mean? So that's cool that you found what you wanted.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So I guess the second part of that, what's been your favorite memory so far? I feel like I have a couple ideas, but what has been, whether it's like I said, that game-winning shot against Southern, or maybe there was a road trip you guys took last year where it was just a really bonding experience for the team or something like that. So what has been your favorite memory so far?
Um, I actually have a lot, but I would say my favorite out of all has to be like it probably was the buzzer beater. Just because like that whole day, I don't know, it was just totally different. And for myself, I was surprised, I was shocked, but I was just very happy, and just to see my teammates happy for me as much as I was, it was really good because when we support each other's successes, it makes everybody feel good. So just seeing everyone smile, everyone happy, it was really good. So I say that's my favorite memory.
Oh yeah, no, I figured that was probably it. That's my favorite memory of you so far. I know when that happened last year, my girlfriend was upstairs. She was like, "What just happened?" Because I'm like yelling and screaming, and no, it was cool. I was incredibly happy for you and obviously your teammates as well. And beating your rival like that in dramatic fashion like that, man, it just doesn't get any better. So I can imagine. That was actually one of my questions that I had on here, so we'll kind of go into that a little bit. You kind of already answered, what it really felt like in the moment, but like, you kind of highlighted a little bit, but like, what did the rest of that day look like? Because for those that don't remember, that game ended around like 2-3 p.m. So I mean, you still had like the rest of the day afterwards. So like, so what did that day feel like for the rest of the day?
Um, it really just felt pretty normal, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of like it really wasn't nothing I could really describe, but I just knew like that whole day, like everyone kept talking about it, no matter like when we went back to the apartments, or because I think that same day we all went out to eat. Everyone kept talking about it. They said like it was on like Sports Center,
Mhm.
ESPN. So it was, it was just a day for us just to like all like just hang out and just be around each other, just to be happy. So that's really what it was.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that. Hey, I was gonna say when excuse my French again, but when you're a badass, I guess it does just feel like a normal day, right? Oh, that's awesome though. I'm really glad, that you guys got to experience that and that it wasn't this overwhelming, surreal feeling of like, oh my gosh, it was just like, hey, this is what I
Yeah.
do. That's cool. That's cool. Um, so yeah, so to kind of go backwards a little bit in your career, for those of you that have looked up your high school statistics, you were a dominant player. I believe it was your senior year that you averaged 26 points and 16 rebounds, which you don't really have to be that big of a basketball fan to know that, man, that's pretty darn good. Um, so I got a question for athletes that I've interviewed like yourself that are pretty dominant. Um,
Hmm.
what do you do in a pregame routine? Is it anything special? Are you um superstitious at all? I know with some athletes that can definitely be the case. Is there anything that
Mhm.
you do to kind of prepare yourself for these games where you just go out and dominate? Or is it just like you said, where it's just a normal day? Can't really explain it. So kind of go into that a little bit for us.
Um, as of superstitions, well, I don't really have one really. I always have my earrings in. I never really take them out until like we run out for the actual game. So I guess that may be one. I never take them out. Literally, my coach is just like, "Take your earrings out," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take them out," but I always keep them in. But other than that, not really. I have like a playlist that I listen to every before every game, that I've been listening to since high school, and I just add more music to it. So
Okay.
it's really just the only one is listening to my music. I have listened to my pregame playlist every game. Um, so that's pretty much it.
Okay. You don't have to say all of them, but can you give us a couple songs that are on that pregame playlist?
Um, well, a lot of my songs are gospel songs. I just got to get into my that it
Okay,
gets me in my.
okay. I love it.
So, one of my number one gospel songs is "Revolution" by Kirk Franklin. Another song would be "Hot" by Young Thug, and
Very comparable songs.
and another one right now would be "Life Is Good" with Drake and Future.
Nice.
Um, so it's just a combination of everything. Honestly, whatever plays, it gets me in my zone. So
I was about to say,
I,
some things that get you pumped up, some things that'll uplift you. Yeah,
yeah,
I got you. That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I figured, whether it was the earrings or the playlist or something, I figured there was something that was part of that secret formula that you got going on there. Um, so cool. So as I kind of mentioned earlier, you started at Kentucky. Well, you mentioned, but I commented as well. You started at Kentucky, but you also had plenty of big name schools that recruiting you. I know Duke, Miami, North Carolina State, just to name a few. So and obviously you eventually chose Kentucky. So was transferring to Georgia State after your freshman year, was that more out of wanting to come back home? Because you said you're from Villa Rica. So, that's not exactly Atlanta, but it's at least, metropolitan area. Um, was that more of like wanting to come back home, or was that more out of wanting like a better situation for your playing career? Because I know obviously like it could be both, but sometimes, it kind of is one or more or the other, like, hey, maybe it'd be better for my playing career if I stayed at this school, but I'd much rather be closer to family. So what exactly was, your decision making process behind that?
Real well, I would say kind of both, but more leaning more to coming back home. After I tore my ACL my freshman year. It was just very hard, just not to be around my family, not to be around my mom. I was a big mama's girl coming out of high school, so just not being around her was so hard. They came like to Kentucky a couple of times, but it just wasn't the same. So I don't know. I got a lot of homesick a lot after I tore my ACL. So just I knew I wanted to transfer, especially when COVID started. That same year or the following year, it was hard for me to just, I don't know. It was hard for me to make a decision to go back when I knew I didn't want to. So I just decided to transfer back home. I knew I wanted to come home. I knew I wanted to play basketball in my home state. So I just thought it would be better for me, and it put me in a better position after all. Um, so I think just transferring back home, being able to go home, my family coming to see me, that's just really just it makes me happy. So
Oh yeah, no, totally understand where you're getting at. Like I mentioned, I went to Athens, and I'm a mama's boy too. So when I was 18, 19 years old in Athens, even being an hour and a half away from home, I still would get homesick. So I totally understand what you're saying, and it's one of those things that I think when we're younger and we decide that we're going to leave home and go to school, we don't put enough thought into that maybe. But hey, I'm glad you made the decision. I know all Georgia State Panthers are definitely happy you came back home. Um so that's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm sure mom is pretty happy too.
yeah, it is.
Oh yeah. Cool. Cool. So we'll go over a couple more questions here and then we'll wrap it up. This next one, I think, it's obviously a little obvious. But it's not just the men's team that got the new arena. You guys got a new arena as well. And it's a beautiful arena. I've already been to it a couple times. It is. I say that too for those who don't know. I actually currently live in Jacksonville, Florida, so it is a little harder for me to go. But I have already been a couple times. Um, I know you guys play Southern in the last home game of the season this year. I think I'm going to try and make it up for that one. See if I can see another buzzer beater. But yeah, it's a beautiful arena. It is definitely something that you guys as players, no disrespect to the sports arena whatsoever, but it's something I feel like you guys have earned. It is an arena that is uh, in my mind easily the nicest one in the Sun Belt. So yeah. So with all that being said, what are some of the aspects of having this new arena that you are most excited about? What gets you the most pumped when it comes to the new arena?
Um, well, like you said, I feel like we've earned it. And I think overall we're all just really excited just to play, just to bring people in, bring fans, and just keep doing what we're doing. Coach Hill always talks about starting a new legacy in this arena. So, we come out and play hard every game, and just I think a lot of us we always think about this is our arena, this is our new arena. So, coming out, not letting anyone just come out and beat us on our new floor, that really motivates us. So I think like that really pumps us up for each game. It pumps me up just to have it, just
Right.
to have it. We have access to it every day. So, it's always good. And, it's beautiful, it's big. And just to, get the fans in and everyone come out, it's a great feeling. So
Oh yeah, no, and I mean, you guys have I think a game tomorrow that represents what the new arena is. So
yeah.
Clemson, for those who don't know, our women's team is hosting Clemson tomorrow. Obviously, Clemson is a big school. I
Mhm.
don't know how many Power Five teams came to the sports arena. I know the men's team happened every now and then, but now it's going to happen maybe even multiple times a year because the respect and the attention that this new arena garners. So I'm super happy for you guys as a fan. Obviously, it feels not as much, but it feels like we've earned it. Like it's like we actually have something we can take pride in, and it's beautiful. So could not be happier for you guys that you guys get to play in. And obviously, you always get to say that you were the first team that played in it. Like you christened that new arena for Georgia State. So it's just awesome. I you can tell by my smile. I just love talking about it. So um, cool. So I guess is there any game on the calendar this year before I go to the next question that you kind of have circled as a home game?
Um, no, not
Okay.
really.
Okay. I like it. Hey, no. It's the mentality of, each game is the same. Got to win them all. So I like it. I like it. Cool. Well, Deasia, we'll get you out on here, and I know, like I said, you got some practice that you got to go to. I said that off air. So last question. I like to ask each one of you guys, the student athletes that I interview as we go out, because obviously with each sport it is a little different for these situations. But what are your aspirations for your future playing career? Are you wanting to maybe take a shot at the WNBA or play overseas? Or I've had a few people say that this is kind of what they plan on doing. They're going to get their degree and move on. So what exactly is your future aspirations for your playing career?
I do want to play professional, whether it's overseas, WNBA. So really, I'm just taking the time out just to really think about it, and it's coming faster than sooner. So, well, slower. I'm sorry, but whatever it leads to, that's what I'm gonna take. Right now, I'm working. I graduate in the spring, so getting one of my degrees, and then next year I'm coming back for a fifth year to get my second degree. So after that, whatever God has in store, that's what I always tell myself is what I'm going to do. But I do plan on playing professionally and just keeping up my talents. So
Awesome. That's great to hear. I think you, are one of the girls on the team that definitely have a shot at, playing professionally. If you keep the trajectory up where you are, I think you definitely have a shot. And it's I'll say this: if you can approach life and handle life the way you do the game of basketball on the basketball court, I think you'll be just fine, Deja. I think you'll be just fine. Well, cool. We'll go ahead and wrap it up on that. It was a huge honor to get to know you a little bit better this morning. I'll let you know if I'm able to make it to any games later this season. But I will definitely be watching them on ESPN Plus every single day. So,
okay.
but yeah, huge honor to have you on. I wish you guys nothing but the best luck with the rest of the season, and obviously your future endeavors as well. So thank you again, Deja, for coming on this morning, and we'll stay in touch.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
Of course. And as
Bye.
always, go Panthers.